Wow, it is fascinating hearing it from your perspective, and also the sequence of events in 2001. But aside from everything that was taking place that year, it sounds as though an inner calmness remained within you, allowing you to draw upon previous readings, both from your academic studies and alternative health material, enabling you to take an unorthodox approach and ultimately heal yourself. But when did you realize that you had to make a change?
Right. So here I am. I'm in hospital, Chelsea and Westminster to be exact. And in a room, I have doctors around me, I have members of my family present. And as I look at everyone, everyone looks perplexed and confused, including the doctors. They don't know what's wrong yet. They say I need to undergo various tests to find out what's going on. Um, my mother was there looking very concerned, and so was other members of my family. I believe my aunt, I had an aunt and a sister from Jamaica who was visiting at the time that was there, and they were, well, let's just say making a lot of expressions in terms of wailing. And at this point, I, again, the only word I can use to describe this moment, everything just seems surreal. I mean, I thought, look, I've just lost my brother a few months ago, and now here I am lying down in a hospital bed. And initially, I felt I had everything tightly wrapped up and in control. The doctors didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong, or so I thought. And I realized it was harder for everyone else than it was for me because everyone else seemed more upset than I did, or than I was at the time. But eventually, the natural, or what I see as a natural manifestation of emotions, came forward, and I began to really feel concerned and express that concern through, tears and of worry and yeah, concern, as I said, and what's gonna happen? What is this? How you die? Is what's going on? What's and then I'm trying to remember what point. I think the point when I realized that everything was gonna be okay was when I came to the conclusion that, okay, Gary, if this is where or how you exit this planet, this reality, then just be cool. There's, don't don't worry. You've done what you needed to do. You said what you needed to say. So who knows you will spread whatever message or words you felt wasn't spread or passed on at the time. And I was having these thoughts of mentally preparing myself to make another journey, so to speak. But anyway, back to what really did happen. There I am, and I think it was about a week into being in hospital that this issue or this news flash came on the TV whilst I was being examined, physically examined, like my reflexes were being taken by one of the lovely nurses, and I remember having to. It was that just made everything else seem so unreal. When there I am having my pulse and my reflex knee tapped and elbow tapped, reflex eyes and everything being tested, and on the TV there's these images coming up on the news of the twin towers falling, and I'm thinking it's some sort of Die Hard movie that's on. But no, I can see the news. I can see it's the news. The nurse then glances towards the TV, and I suppose, we're both in awe, in shock. And she then looks at me and says, "Oh my God." And then she begins to cry. And it was at that point that I, I mean, I felt this calmness, and I said everything's going to be okay. I told her that everything's going to be okay. I don't know why I said it, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether it was a way that I thought I could comfort or deal with the situation, I don't know. But I said what I said, and by now, just to let you know how my physical status, or what my physical status was, I couldn't use my legs. My legs were totally non-existent. I could only use my right hand. My left arm was completely dead. My right eye was totally messed up. I mean, my right eye was looking in every direction except the direction I wanted it to look, which was straight ahead. It was just doing its own thing when it wanted to. And the only mobility I had at this stage was in my right hand. And I was a mess. I was a physical mess. And I was trying to hold down this, what I felt I should be in, an emotional mess. But there was this deep, innate feeling that everything was going to be okay. And I don't know where this came from. I mean, one of my biggest concern in the early days in hospital was I didn't have a wheelchair, because I needed to be independent. I needed to be able to move around and do the things I wanted to do in terms of escaping from the hospital if I needed to, because now there was this paranoia that, you know, um, the West was being attacked by people in aeroplanes. And I thought, okay, this type of hospital is quite high. Maybe this is going to be on the list. And I was looking for various different escape exits and what I would do and how I would get out if I needed to. So I suppose that was me trying to, I suppose, create some sort of adventure into my whole process, you know, into the whole situation that I was in. But after days of tears, feeling sorry for myself, wondering what's going on, what's happened, um, a specialist came into my room, and he said he had some news. He had a diagnosis, what was wrong. So I prepared myself. Look, I have to tell you this. It's like, as I said earlier on, there's a battle going on in my mind where I'm trying to conform to a degree with um what is expected of me. And I don't want you to think that I was some raging individual who needed to be strapped down. No, that wasn't the case. All these battles and resistance I'm talking to are all in my head. I mean, I was very calm outwardly. I was very relaxed. I seemed like I was conforming to the whole thing, the whole process. But in my head, I was very aware of how easy it was to be, let's say, the victim of an institution who thinks or who is trying to help you, where you can in fact become a victim of their own um, unintentional negligence towards your own individuality, if that makes sense. Um, this specialist entered my room and he basically told me that I have MS and that it's a condition that affects my nerves, which in turn affects my muscles and my movement. Um, he said the good news is that they have medication for this. It's in the form of the several different steroids. One of them I remember was called, I think it was called beta interferon. And even the name alone was enough to tell me that something was wrong, interferon. So I thought, no way am I having that one anyway, I thought to myself. So he carried on and he said, over time we can give you one of these steroids and you'll be up and running in no time. So I thought it was best for me to make it clear now at this stage where we're going to go. So I turned to my specialist and I said to him, I won't be taking any form of medication. And he asked me why. And I said, I don't know why. I mean, I don't have an answer that would satisfy you, but I know why I don't want to take or will be taking any medication. And the reason why I won't be is because I believe that my body somehow put me in this position. And if I give my body a chance, if I leave my body and my mind, it will work this all out and it will get me back to how I should be. And he looked at me. I mean, in my head I'm thinking, okay, now they're gonna get the real men in white coats, so to speak, to give me something else, to keep me quiet. But um no, he looked at me and I asked him, "Do you understand what I mean?" I mean, basically, I'm saying I don't want to take any form of medication. I'm going to look towards an alternative solution to this. And he said, "Yeah, you're quite within your rights. Of course you can. But in the meantime, we'll keep you here under investigation, check, do various continued tests, and to confirm and conclude that what we say you have, you have." And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." To answer the question, at what point did I feel that I needed to make a change? And I suppose that goes in with what I answered earlier on, where, realizing that I had a daughter at the time, and now I have 3 daughters and 2 sons, I realized that I need to do something. I need to leave a legacy. Don't see it as something like an end, but see it as a new beginning, like a gift. And that's literally to this day how I see this experience as a gift, because so many branches have come from this experience. Not just about recovering my health, but so many spiritual experiences, so many life-changing experiences have come from this one, positive life-changing experiences have come from this one experience. So I'd like to say thank you, and I'm grateful for that experience to this day. Um, but yes, it goes back to my children, and more so Marcella, who was a young child at the time. I was in this place where I knew I needed to, whatever happened, I needed to leave some information that was positive, even if I didn't make it. But this is where I got to. This is what worked. Take it from there. And This wasn't just about my health condition. This was about life. This was about how to um, be resilient. Don't not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. And to don't be afraid to step in the dark. Because you have to go in the dark sometimes to switch on the light. And for me, this was my darkness, but I knew where the light switch was. And I don't know where that came from, but it makes so much sense. I was ready for change. I was ready to make the change.